Hey guys, it's Alexis and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing my long-awaited Accutane experience video. I've gotten a couple comments here and there being like, where's an Accutane update? So I thought I would just sit down and let you guys all know my experience. So first things first, before we get started, I just want to apologize for stopping my update videos after 2 months. That was definitely not my plan. I really don't have any excuse for that, but it did happen and I do apologize. So I thought I would just wrap up everything in this video. So I started Accutane on October 3rd of 2016. My last day of Accutane was April 4th, I believe. So after I started in October, I was put on 40 milligrams, which is just like one pill once a day. So I took my pill around the same time every day. I would always take it after a big meal. I would make sure that I would eat a lot. So I would usually do it after lunch because I would have like a big meal before I would go to work. So basically I was on 40 milligrams for most of the time, and I don't remember if it was in January or February I went up to 80 milligrams, but for 2 of the months I went up to 80 milligrams. And that was just because my dermatologist said that my skin, when I went in, I was telling her that it was like still not super dry, and she was like, no, you need to be dry. So she put me on 80 milligrams. That was like the only bad part about the Accutane, was those 2 months that I was on the 80 milligrams, because it made my body hurt so bad. Like, I'm a dancer, I say this all the time, I'm a dance teacher, a dancer, and I was constantly moving, and my back and my ribs were like in so much pain. They just felt really brittle, and I just dealt with it most of the time. I didn't really like, you can take like Tylenol or ibuprofen, but I didn't, because I knew that my skin was getting better. I can tell in those 2 months that even though I was hurting from not having like the lubrication in my joints and my bones and all of that, even though I had to deal with that, I could tell that my skin was getting better in those 2 months. So it was like a pivotal moment of like my Accutane journey. So like I knew I had to go on those like 2 months of 80 milligrams, and they probably would have kept me on 80 milligrams to the end and shortened my my duration. But I did end up telling my dermatologist, I was like, can you take me back down to 40 because I am in so much pain. Like, I think my skin's doing okay, so can you leave it down? She's like, yeah, no problem. We'll just put you on for another month afterwards. Basically, the only side effects that I had from the Accutane were dry lips, which is just like inevitable. You're gonna get dry lips, and you think it's not that bad, but your lips just like crumble. You constantly have to have lip balm on them, like constantly, or else you're gonna be in pain. They're gonna crack, they're gonna bleed, and when you get cuts on the side of your mouth, that is the absolute worst. So just make sure that they always have some kind of lip balm. I used Vaseline, it worked perfectly. If you can't use Vaseline for whatever reason, just find any kind of chapstick that's hydrating. I wouldn't really recommend using like the chapstick brand or like any of those things, because I personally don't feel like they work even on like not Accutane lips. So I would just find anything like hydrating, replenishing, stuff like that for your lips. Another side effect that I had was the joint pain, which is only for 2 months, which when I was on 40 milligrams I didn't really feel any issues at all. My skin was dry, but it wasn't like annoying, or it wasn't like hard for me to put makeup on or anything. I actually enjoyed my skin being dry because I was so oily before. My hair, my scalp was dry, but again, nothing that I didn't like. Like, I liked having my scalp be dry because normally my hair would just get greasy all the time, so I didn't really mind that. I did get like tiny patches of eczema on my arms and like the back of my hand once, which I think I talked about, and that was really weird. But those did not stay for long. I would just put the Vaseline oil on my hands or my arms, then I would go to sleep like drenched in it, and then I would wake up and it would be gone. So that wasn't that big of a deal. Your skin on your face and a little bit on your body becomes a little bit more thin. I thought the face was a lot worse obviously than my body, so you really have to be careful that you don't like scratch yourself or cut yourself on your face, because it's so thin and it'll just like cut like paper, so you just have to be really careful. But yeah, other than that, like, I really can't think of any more side effects. People always talk about like depression and mood swings when you're on Accutane, and I did not experience that at all, like zero. And that was like one of the things I was like so scared about, because when you go on Accutane they make it very clear that you can have like suicidal thoughts and depression, and that was really scary to me because no one wants that, you know, that's really scary. But I did not have one bad thought. I had nothing. I felt like myself the entire time I was on it. I was very happy. And I don't know if that was just because like I didn't have like a past or a history of depression or anything like that. I don't really know what the reasoning was for that. They did keep a close eye on me when it came down to that stuff, but nothing really happened. On the medical side, my lipid levels were high at one point. I think it was my lipid levels, maybe it was my triglycerides. I don't really know what I'm saying. I don't really know what these words mean. But one of my tests, one of the things that they test you when you get your blood drawn every month is like your lipid levels, your triglycerides, your liver functions, all this stuff. And I don't remember which one. One of them was really high and they were like close to, I don't know, I actually don't know if they were close to taking me off, but I remember my doctor called me and it was right before Christmas and she was like, we really need to get a hold of Alexis. And I started freaking out because I didn't know what was going to happen. I thought they were going to take me off of it and I was so scared because it was only in December, like that's 3 months, and I was like, oh my god, oh my god. And I called them back and they just said that one of my things, I don't know which one, was high, and they said, do you have any idea why that could be? And I was like, I mean, I drank. And they were like, it's the alcohol, like no problem. Sometimes if you don't if you eat certain foods or if you drink alcohol while you're on this, your levels will go up or whatever, and they have to tell you about it. But if it's not like in an increasing rate, or if it doesn't like get super high, then you're fine, they won't take you off. Honestly, I don't really know the whole medical side. And if you're wondering about, like, I keep talking about alcohol and normally you would hear that you're not supposed to drink on this medication, I asked them, I was like, am I allowed to have alcohol on this medication? Because if they would have said no, I would have just gone without drinking for the 6 months and not done anything. But they told me it was okay as long as I don't drink every single day, or like I don't drink super heavily all the time. I'm sure it's not the best thing for you considering this medication goes through your liver and so does alcohol, but I'm just telling you from my own experience that I did drink alcohol on this medication and nothing happened to me. So yeah, I would talk to your doctor, consult your doctor, but they told me that I could, and I did, and I didn't get drunk every single day. Obviously, it was just like a social kind of drinking and nothing happened to me. I was fine. Another thing I wanted to say was if you have to skip a pill day, don't worry about it. Like, I was so scared about this because I had never heard somebody like talk about this, that if you like skip a pill day that like I don't know what's gonna happen. I had to skip a couple days. One day I totally forgot to take it, and then there was another day, it was in November, where I was so sick. It was on Thanksgiving. I had the stomach flu or some kind of stomach virus and I was throwing up and I couldn't eat anything. I couldn't keep anything down. So when you, like I said earlier in the video, you have to eat a decent amount before you take the pill, and I couldn't eat anything, so I didn't take my pill. And that's when I actually first started freaking out because I didn't know if you were allowed to skip a day or like what would happen to you. But my dermatologist told me I could, like, she said don't do this, but like realistically, technically you can skip up to a week and nothing will happen because the medication was already in your body. Keep in mind I was already like almost 2 months in the medication, so yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know if like for some reason you have to skip a day, nothing's gonna happen because it was already in your body. Don't try to take it out of order of your schedule, just take it the next day, like it's fine. The skincare that I talked about in my first 2 update videos stayed the exact same the entire time. I did not switch up anything. I kept everything really simple and really hydrating as much as I could. I did not use any masks, any sheet masks, anything like that. I was advised by my doctor not to, if you are wondering, because all the videos I watched, no one ever said if they used them, and I kind of wanted to use like a hydrating sheet mask, but they advised me not to. They just said wait until you're off, so I did do that. My updated skincare, I can do an updated skincare routine on Accutane, but it's not much different than the skincare I showed in my foundation on Accutane video. It's not much different than that. I keep everything very simple right now. I've even cut back on like wearing makeup, foundation. I'm just trying to like preserve my skin. I'm very happy with my skin and how it looks from Accutane. Basically, Accutane in general as a whole was such a good thing for me. Like, I'm so happy that I went on it. it really did change my skin, and it changed like my life. I know that sounds so ridiculous, and I don't know, it just sounds dumb, but like it did change my life, because for the last like 3-4 years I dealt with such severe acne that I'd never had before, and nobody I knew really had what I had, and it was just like so frustrating all the time. And it was like all my friends like wouldn't wash their face, they like wouldn't take care of their skin, and their skin was perfect, and here I am like slaving away at skincare and my skin sucked. Even like swimming and stuff, like I could never swim, and this is all just like trivial stuff, because you really don't, you can like let your skin go, like you can let your acne shine through. I just like, I'm telling you personally, I did not embrace my acne. This is just the truth. I was really insecure about it. I was so insecure about it. Like I would wear makeup, foundation, heavy foundation every single day. It probably made it look worse, but that is what I did. I did, however, try my best to just like deal with it, because I knew it wasn't gonna like go anywhere, and anywhere overnight at least. There was only like a couple times where I really let it get to me, but for the most part I just went out with my life, I guess. People in the comments keep asking me about my scarring. I am gonna take off my makeup so I can show you guys. People keep asking me about like scarring, and if I did anything to like help the scarring, or if the Accutane just took it away. For the most part, the Accutane did help with the scarring like a little bit. Once my active acne was gone and there was just scars left, I think I had like a month and a half left, and my active acne was gone. That's another thing. It was like 2 months or a month and a half that I had left, and my active acne was no more. Like I wasn't breaking out anymore. I still did have some scarring, and I do think the Accutane helped with like diminishing the scars, but I obviously didn't get rid of it completely. The one thing that I did that I believe helped was I used rosehip oil and argan oil religiously. Every morning and every night I would use rosehip oil, and then every night I would add in the argan oil. I wouldn't put argan oil on my face during the day, but the rosehip oil that I used was just from TJ Maxx, and it was like I got a different one every time I went. It was just like the organic pure rosehip oil. I just got whatever was on the shelf, and it absorbed really quickly. I just kind of like patted it into my skin, and especially on the places where I had like the most redness and the most scarring, and I really feel like that helped a lot. Other than that, I didn't really do anything. I didn't exfoliate, I didn't do microdermabrasion, which you can't do microdermabrasion on Accutane, don't do that. Oh, and I wear sunscreen on my face every single day, so I think that might have helped too. Anyway, I'm going to remove my makeup so I can show you guys what my skin looks like. Also, my lips are stained. So yeah, this is my face without any makeup on. Only thing I have on, because I'm not trying to get played right now, is a little bit of powder on my lips, because you saw how red it was. I still have a little bit of scarring. I still have redness. My skin is not perfect, but I will tell you that I am 150,000% happy with my skin. I love my skin. I wake up every morning and I don't worry about putting makeup on. I feel very confident with my skin compared to what it was, and I will show you a picture right here of what it looked like. I'm sure you guys have seen it. Obviously, if you guys have watched my other videos, you guys have seen this, but compared to what that looked like, this looks so good. Like, you can see I still have scarring, but that doesn't bother me. So life after Accutane has been pretty good. Obviously, I love my skin and I'm very happy with that part. I have not had any lingering side effects, long-term side effects, whatever you want to call them. I don't have any joint pain. My lips are completely back to normal. My hair gets oily. My skin is... So what I read, I believe, don't quote me on these numbers, but what I read from Accutane is that it's supposed to reduce your oil production by 80 or 85%. I truly believe that is what happened to me. My skin was extremely oily before I started Accutane, and then it was completely dry when I was on the medication, but right now I'm at normal to dry. I am more on the normal side. I don't have any oil on my face. I never get oily anymore. I used to get oily in my T-zone really bad. I used to always have to set my foundations with powder because it would move. My skin would be just so just like an oil slick. But now it's, like I said, normal to dry. As far as breaking out again off Accutane, I haven't broken out, but I have gotten pimples, which is normal. Every human being gets pimples. This is not like a miracle. Well, it is kind of like a miracle drug, excuse me, but it's not like, it's not magic. You're not just gonna never have a pimple again. We have pores. The environment gets into our pores, stress, your hormones, period, blah blah blah. You're gonna get pimples again. I have gotten pimples again, but they're so small and they basically go away in like 1 to 2 days. I really don't even notice them half the time. I almost forgot about this one last thing. I do want to say that there is one product that I have introduced into my skincare after Accutane, and this was recommended by my doctor, and I do want to recommend it to you guys because it is a lifesaver. I really believe that it has maintained my skin and the clearness of my skin, and that is Differin Gel. I have 0.1%. I just get this at CVS. It's like $15, this small thing. Like I said, my dermatologist recommended this to me. I would recommend this to any person. I wish I knew about this, or I wish at least this was available over the counter when I had my severe acne, because I would have picked this up a lot sooner because it's really good. But yeah, I really don't feel like I have anything else to say besides the fact that Accutane was one of the best decisions that I've ever made. I was really scared to go on it at first. I put it off for about 2 years. Every time I would go to the dermatologist, they would offer it to me and I would tell them no. I did not want to go on it. I was extremely terrified hearing all of the horror stories, but I got to a point where I just couldn't handle the acne anymore and I would have tried anything, and I'm really happy that I did do it. Not everybody's experience is going to be the same. That's why there are horror stories out there, but just personally from my experience, this was one of the best things I've ever done, and I would do it again if I had to. If my acne all came back and I had to go on a second round, I would 100%. If you're watching this and you suffer from acne, I just wanted to tell you that I am here for you. I totally know how it feels. If you want to talk, if you feel like you want somebody to talk to, don't be afraid to comment down below or message me on here and we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. I know it's really hard, and it's hard to talk to people that haven't experienced it or don't experience it. They don't really understand. So if you want to talk to somebody that has been there and has suffered from it, then I'm here for you. I will talk to you. If you are thinking about going on Accutane, don't let this video be the only reason that you go on it. Do your research. Really make sure that it's something that you personally want to do. Although I feel like I should have done it back the first time that they asked me to be on Accutane, I'm really glad that I did it when I did. I don't regret putting it off for so long, only because you have to be in a place and a mindset where you're completely ready to take on all of the consequences and the side effects that go along with being on this medication, because everybody's body is different. You don't know how you're going to react to it, so you really have to be ready with yourself. So just make sure that you do your research, you watch other videos, you just know what you're getting yourself into, and just make sure that you are completely ready. If you have any more questions about Accutane, my experience, if I forgot anything, if you guys want to tell me something, don't hesitate to put it in the comments down below. I read all my comments. I will answer back to you. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos from me. And I will talk to you in the next one. Bye!